Hey guys. What's going on? Oh boy. What is going on? Let's get this Strobin. Oh yeah. Cats. Runner. Cats. Runner. Cats. Runner. Runner. Boy, it is hot in here. Hot water. Hot water. water. You know. You know. We got some interesting stuff to talk about, don't we? Run out, run out, run out. So, what is going on, everyone? How's the world doing? Some cats. Oh man, so I'll be honest with you. If you're one of those people that resists regulation, you resist safety, you resist, certain things all your life, you will not look at things correctly. You will resist what people want to tell you, what people, try to, tell you about certain things that, I don't know, maybe it would be unsafe or whatever, yada, yada, yada. You get the picture. And so, let's say you're somebody that just, you think all regulation's bad just because you want to politicize this and you've been really brainwashed to think that, all regulation of any kind is just bad. So, let's say you go your whole life and you constantly dance around this, and let's say, you constantly do things that would put other people in danger just because, again, you don't know that you're doing anything bad because you're dancing around regulation because you think you know best. You think you know everything about, how that functions, yada, 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 and meanwhile, you have other people that have put these regulations and safeties into place because they know how it works and they know it should be this way for a reason. So, don't pass this on to the next generation. Let them think for themselves. Let them tell you when you're freaking wrong about something. Because otherwise, you're dooming them to make the same mistakes forever. And you're dooming them to just end up, aligning their viewpoints with eventually only what you, thought. And you could be wrong. And this is kind of the point. This is why people look at things a certain way. They look at it like it's woke and they want to end it and stuff like that just because somebody finds something wrong with it. Listen, man. And then woke, and then the woke agenda gets labeled as something that cancels things too. Look, the agenda shouldn't be to ornately look at something. We have interference so that they're breaking up what I'm saying. The agenda should not be to, when you're considering, looking at something a certain way. To fix it, to make it better. What you really don't want to do, again, is if you know that what you're doing isn't really working, you can recognize at least that much about it. Again, don't allow the previous knowledge to cloud the judgment of the new knowledge, regardless of what political agenda or side you're on that. The whole point is that's why you don't politicize things too much, because then you can't get down to what actually does help you, and nobody knows anymore. And then at the end of the day, you end up with a situation, where we undo democracy. We undo these things because we don't understand that they're actually, beneficial to us. They actually help us. And yada yada yada, such and such, you get the picture. So I'm not going to give you any examples. I don't think you need them. Nah, I really don't think you need any examples. I really don't. I'm gonna give you one anyway. I'm gonna give you one anyway. Let's say some repair guy comes to look at something that like you want repaired or whatever. You like call the guy, you know. And there's like a regulation, right? And like they're looking at this thing and they're like, yeah, you know, that really shouldn't be like that. We got to set it up this way. You know, like we got to set it up like this. And, you know, with your vast expert knowledge, instead of, you know, being the repair guy yourself, you're not the repair guy. You're the guy calling the repair guy because, again, it's broken and you can't fix it. And then, again, this guy tells you that it's set up this way for a reason. The regulations in place to make sure that, you know, nothing really bad happens. But you're just full of yourself and you don't believe that. You think you know better, and you tell this guy, you know, oh maybe like leave, or you're just really unhappy with them, just because, again, you want to justify that you're right about something. So you don't go with this guy. Let's say you hire a different guy that you know flat out doesn't necessarily know about the particular area that you're trying. You know, so therefore you're trying to go around a regulation that person might not necessarily know about. Meanwhile, you know you're doing this. You should. It's all subconscious though. But you do it anyway. And you think you're right. But the point is, you've lied to yourself. You're in denial of the fact that you should have just listened to the first guy in the first place. And you're just trying to be right. So you intentionally do something that seems correct on face value to continue lying to yourself. And then this new guy, again, it's not his area of expertise, but he exactly confirms your little theory, again, because he doesn't deal with that stuff every day. And so because he's as layman terms and basic as you are, you never learn. You never get any smarter. You think you know everything. And so you get this guy to constantly fix your shit. Meanwhile, this guy knows no fuck he's doing. And then, let's say he fixes something, goes around the regulation that he doesn't know about because, again, it's not his area of expertise. And sure enough, eventually, it takes a long time, but eventually, a very detrimental problem happens. Because other people that might, let's say, know about it and know that it's an issue will, try to make it an issue. So, again, all that you had to do initially was do the correct thing in the first place. So anyway, the moral of the story is, don't politicize regulation. You shouldn't. That's the point of it. We're not talking, like, that should be, like, the politics should be, how do we regulate? Not that there's no fucking regulation. Get rid of anybody that wants no regulation. Get rid of those morons. We don't know what it's for. These are people that aren't parents. Or if they are, they don't care. Yeah, that's the point. Recognize that when you see it. parents, people that care about other people, they want regulation because they give a shit. That's it. You get what I'm saying? It's that simple. You're the ones bitching about things that keep people safe. Let me get this straight. You're gonna be a Republican and you're gonna actually sit here. Again, you think gun regulation is bad and stuff like that. Do you know what it means to regulate guns? It doesn't mean we're taking away an amendment. It means that we're regulating things like the guns so that way they can be tracked and you know who's buying them and you know it's not criminals. People that have had a history of using them for bad things. This is the point. So that way it can make the amendment better and you can feel safe with your amendment, with your rights. That is how governing and democracy works. You don't sit here and be afraid of regulation, dance around it because you know better. You don't. The people that made the regulation know better. They made it for a reason. So again, when you're sitting here complaining about regulation, are you complaining about something valid or are you just complaining in general? No regulation. It sounds ridiculous. It's a modern society. There's people everywhere committing crimes. Meanwhile, they're laughing their asses off the more stuff gets deregulated. So again, you want to stop the cartels? More regulation. Instead of militarizing things. Like, this is the point. Be smart. Like, that's what regulation is. It's squeezing where it matters. You know, you put serial numbers on guns, suddenly you know exactly where they are at all times. You get what I'm saying? Like, here's how it works. An officer conducts an investigation. He finds a body and a gun. The gun has a serial number scratched off. No fingerprints that he can trace to anybody. Great, dead end. Now let's hope ballistics comes back with something. Nope, no trace. Suddenly you realize if there was a serial number on that gun, he could actually conduct an investigation and start somewhere. Who registered the gun? Oh, well, look up the fucking serial number and find that person. You had a gun registered your name, this yada yada yada, what happened to it, what'd you do with it? That's how you can, that's literally, and this is the point. They can't do what they need to do. Because people just don't understand what regulation is for. They think it's bad because the Republicans have been propaganding against this since forever. Yeah, I know, I make up words all the time. No, but propaganda, like, you get it. Like, the point is propaganda is everywhere, and this is what they're going to use, where it's like something that sounds kind of accurate and sounds scary, but really they're just making it sound that way to make you fear something that would expose what these disgusting Republicans are doing. These disgusting... And so, like, that's the point. Think about who's always trying to do that. Who's always trying to convince you regulation's bad. The Republicans. Because it would expose what they're fucking doing. The moment you regulate something, everybody starts tracking where everything's been going. They're going to start learning a whole lot of fucking shit real fucking quick. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous, like, how basic thinking that is, but most people don't understand that because they weren't educated on stuff like that. And me, I'm just fascinated with Sherlock Holmes. So literally just because I had a fascination with detective work and Sherlock Holmes and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, you know what I mean? Like, it's a shame that more people aren't interested in things and they don't start looking things up and learning how to do, you know, like that's kind of what I mean. Everybody, instead of doing stuff like that, they would, you know, I guess rather watch some stream with, like, somebody's, you know, like, I don't know. Like, think about all the gambling streams you see and stuff like. I don't understand what somebody gets out of it. Like, what's the point? So you can say I was there when somebody hits the jackpot. It's never gonna happen. Yeah, that's all that is. That's like their inability to recognize that that's never gonna happen. They just think it will. It's the same type of people that sit there and play the lottery. Like it's not, obviously it's not never gonna happen for anybody, but obviously they wouldn't do it if they didn't make money off of it. It's literally gambling. So, yeah, basically, you have to remember that most people's attention spans are at risk. Some moth. Oh, he dive bombed. He dive bombed. You saw the light, probably. There you go, moth. Try to get him out. Hopefully he survived. Well, I just use a little strainer thing. I mean, I'm not gonna use my hand. Try to get him out gently. He's just a moth, though. He's probably done. Yeah, I mean, moths are pretty delicate things. But yeah, just you have to remember that with people's attention spans at risk, part of why I want to make long form content sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And stuff like that is to try to help with that a little bit. I feel like again, if people like it is tough to focus on something that's a bit like that you consider boring or dull or whatever, and I get that. So like obviously you want to focus on interesting things, which is why obviously we try to do gaming streams that are, like the longer ones and stuff like that, so that there's definitely more content value there for you for the amount of time that you're doing it for. But like, I just feel like even back when I was sort of kind of calling out the backlash that some of the original Matrix trilogy was getting, I honestly proved half the time that it was people that couldn't pay attention. Like, it would be like half the things they were saying were things that would have been cleared up in the movie if they had just paid attention. Like, it's just literally things that weren't the case, and they were saying are plot holes, and I'm like, no, they explained that. Like, why could Neo in the end do what he did with the Sentinel? Everybody was like they explained it. Are you kidding? You didn't... Like, that's kind of like where I am with stuff like that. Like, like, it's the sort of thing where it was a longer movie, and it was such an intricate, in-depth concept that only unless you're like a scientist, you're gonna actually sit there and appreciate what they did. Because holy shit, is this like possible? Theoretically, not in our known current state of what we understand about physics, but theoretically, yeah. Like, everything was explained. It was perfect. And everybody's complaining. Now, like, we can talk about, like, odds and ends between the different characters that arguably went different than we wanted them to go. We could discuss that. But wholly aside from that, The Matrix Reloaded was exactly what it needed to be, and The Matrix Revolutions was exactly what it needed to be. And for you not to understand the reference to the Bible, like, the whole point is that regardless of how the end happens, there's still going to be like a Jesus Christ. There's still going to be a hero that knows what's going on and has to sacrifice to take care of business. And when are we going to evolve as a society and not allow that to happen anymore? When are we going to get smart and accomplish this whole world peace thing where we understand that crime exists, but we find a smarter way of dealing with it so that it's almost nothing, and it's super easy to deal with. You get what I'm saying? Like, not through forced control. That doesn't work, because that in itself is crime. People see things wrong with that, and it teaches people to be angry and resentful and stuff like that. Regardless of whether you think you can discipline people, they will always be upset with their superiors. They always have some sort of resentment that they think they don't have for their superiors, but they do. And meanwhile, you think Nazism works, you think these things are good ideas, but they're not. They're not. The whole point of that is that Hitler was sitting there trying to create some sort of superior race through what he thought was like the superior evolutions of DNA and shit like that. Well, this is the point. You don't harm people just because you have some sort of theory on how you're going to evolve the rest of civilization. Who the hell gave you the keys to the godlyhood? Like, the whole point is that nobody claims that for themselves. You do the best you can. You don't trade lives. You do the best you can. So, the point that just like obviously the point is that that's always been the case, and that was always the point with things like that, and people didn't get it, and didn't get why that was like the direct reference, where it was similar to what Jesus did, where he had to do that in order for people at the time to just realize just how because he was so loved and respected. Like, had he not done that, the killing would have continued. Like that's the point. Like, people were just they were justifying it. You know, just like the way certain leaders are doing now. It's not okay. That's not okay at all. It's not. You know, there's always another way. If things went differently for Russia, or if things went differently for another country, all that country would have had to do was reach out to the United States and say, "Look, we're expended on these resources, man. Can you give us a hand? Like, we're gonna have a serious economic decline by now." And we put ourselves together. This is why NATO worked. Like, the whole point was that we were all friends, helping each other, until a certain douchebag came along. Hey, 365. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you. Oh no, that moth is back. Get out of the water, you idiot. Look at him. Stupid moth. You're gonna die, you idiot. Look at him. He's, oh my god, look. Fucking, oh, what a retard. Hold on. I got you. Jeez. Stupid moth. Poor moth. Oh, dude, you're playing Snake Eater. That's so cool. Yes, you do need patience. That game, trust me, you will get very impatient, especially that bridge. Did you get to that bridge? Stock up. One thing I'll recommend to you, have you ever played it before? If you've never played it before, my suggestion is try really hard to go as long as you can without using your snakes and like your survival stuff. Like sometimes you'll be like limping around and shit, because that stuff really limited. So just that's one thing I'll say is just really ration that stuff as much as you can. But yeah, for sure, man, it definitely takes patience. I'm sure you've played it before though, so I'm sure I don't need to tell you. You're still trying to get the best of the bridge, dude. How'd I know? That's so funny. Yeah, I got stuck on the bridge a lot. No lie. Like, I get it. Like the one with the the rope bridge, right? Like it's rope, like it's over like a ravine, sort of like a canyon, like a fault. That's it. Yeah, it's like almost like a fault, but yeah, it's like a break in the mountains, kind of. I guess it's a ravine. But yeah, that's tough because there's all right. So yeah, I know, right? So one thing I'll say with that bridge is, if I remember correctly, I ended up doing it by luring them back. There's a couple of guys there. I think you have to lure back a little bit and then take them out with CQC. If I remember correctly, I think that's how I did it. So don't forget to lure people and do your sort of classic snake stuff where you're luring people like away from the other guys. That's what I'd recommend, because I think there's like a little pile of grass further back that's blocked by, like, their line of sight's blocked by the rock if you lure them back. So I think that's how I did it, but without looking at it again, it'd be really hard to say. A lot of times that's about line of sight. There's like clearly like a rock or tree or something, and you can use that for line of sight. Like blocking their line of sight, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the Snake Eater was objectively, I could identify that as objective. Like, even though I personally picked the first one, like, well, I call Metal Gear Solid, like Solid as in the first one. Metal Gear Solid as my favorite, just because I had so much nostalgia, so many memories playing it. I love the introduction to Otacon and all the characters and stuff. So I just had so much fun playing that. But like Snake Eater, I can honestly, objectively identify that is the better game. That is the best game. Yeah, I feel like I've kind of always said that. Like even way back, as it was coming out, I was definitely like saying, yeah, this looks like it's going to be pretty much the best one, regardless of me probably continuing to like the first one. We've got the moves. We've got the moves. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Let's do it again. We got the moves. We got the moves. If you guys have never heard Electric Callboy, you're seriously missing out. Have y'all ever heard Electric Callboy? Go listen to Electric Callboy. And you want to hear... What's the Elevator song called? Something Elevator. Listen to that one. Fucking amazing. I fucking love it. That's actually not that old. But, We Got the Moves is good. I'm just thinking about how funny their videos are. They did a song with Baby Metal, right? Didn't they do a song with Baby Metal? I love Electric Callboy. You need to go watch their videos. Just binge all of them. Just binge all of them. There's not like a ton or anything. You could binge them. Spaceman. I'm a spaceman. 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 It's club music. It's like perfectly 2000s club music. Fucking love it. With metal. It's club music with metal. It's fucking amazing. I'm trying to remember how the Elevator song goes because it's so funny. Just type Electric Callboy Elevator. The name is escaping me. I just can't think. I just remember that being so funny. It was a good song too. I feel bad. I do that sometimes. I haven't known about them like super long though. I'll be honest with you. Like that's a band that I more recently found out about, and I think they're really awesome. They did a cover. They did a Linkin Park cover, I think. I think they did an acoustic cover, if I'm not mistaken, of a Linkin Park song. And it was fucking good. I was like, holy shit. Aw. Come on, man. Freaking moth, man. Come here, moth. Moth. He just keeps diving into the water. I'm a spaceman. Spaceman. It's awesome. And Elevator operator. Elevator operator. That's what it's called. It's called elevator operator. Listen to that. It's really good. Oh man. Let me put this down here. See if should I just let it float? Do you guys want to know what it is? Like, do you, like 365, are you there? Do you want to know what it is? I mean, I don't care. I want you guys to be able to know what the stuff is. I don't care, I'll show you if you want. Do. But then you'll know my. But then the magic's gone, right? Do you want to see? Do you let us see it or? This is literally just a waterproof light, guys. It's literally just a water. It's all it is. It's just a water. It's not a light that that isn't waterproof. It is in fact waterproof. That is all it is. It's just a waterproof light. I told you guys that all you have to do is just buy a light. Like if your light dies or something like that, like you can get a waterproof light. Like, and it ends up being 10 times better than the original one was. Oh, I think I have, hold on, do you want me to turn off the, I think I have, hold on. There you go. I had a filter on. That's what it looks like without the filter. I mean, it's still pretty bright. My bad. I'll turn that off, that way you can see the, I mean, it's a, I think it's 300 lumens. Does that sound right? I have to look at it. It's pretty freaking bright, man. I turned off the filter. So that's actually how it looks now. It's just a light. It's a waterproof light though. But it looks really cool under the water. See my snacks. Oh no. You can see my snack. I'm eating crackers. Big surprise. It has a suction cup on it. But because of the jets, it just like floats off once in a while. That's why I have to keep reattaching it. It's because it has a suction cup. Like, it would probably stay better if I had it up above the water, but if I just sort of push in once in a while, it'll stay there. But as you guys know, when you do like lighting and stuff, if you hide the lighting just out of sight, it looks a little bit better. Some people prefer the direct light though, like it looks like a spotlight almost. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I have my so I know like I intentionally put like my strip lighting around my shelves for my background because I already have LED lighting behind. I feel like people don't notice that, even though like it's on, you can see it and it's so like you can literally see the colors fading behind there. I think people focus on the front light a lot, and that's always been the point. Like it looks cool. But yeah, no, there's backlights hidden behind, like they're already back there. So that's why I put one on the front. I thought it looked cool. But yeah, obviously, like if you do this, you see how like it hides it, and it's like, oh wow, like it like fills the image better. Like it's all about aesthetics. Suddenly, if you do this, you see what I mean? It just floats off. See what I mean? All right. So yeah, like if it's off the camera, it's actually a little bit of a lighting trick too. If you know anything about lighting, like for videos and stuff, it's a pretty decent lighting trick too that works. Really makes the lighting look really nice and crisp and stuff. If you have it exactly at the angle I have it right now, where the light is shining just out of the frame, but at the lens, so that way the light's coming in the lens, and it's not overexposing whatever the... Because if I did this, see, it overexposes. So like if you do this with it just off, you get what I'm saying. It just floats off, man. There it goes. So just let it go. See where it ends up. Just let it float around. We'll just let it float around. It's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll just let it float around a little bit. It can't get stuck in anything. It really can't. That's not how this one works. Nothing can get lodged or stuck. Actually, it does look pretty freaking cool. I should have just done that. Yeah, we'll just watch it float around. I appreciate you guys watching. It's kind of fun with the light. It's not going to come out of the car. Yeah, it'll just spiral in there now. Get it out of there. It's pretty cool. Those are the jets. If you hear that sound, that's the top jets. Like, it means I'm moving around a lot. And the water's sort of moving. And the top jets, see how they're like right there? That's what you hear. It's this one. This one does it a lot. Because there's like a lounge to my right. So like the way the water is angled, it just tends to swoop down there a little bit more. That's why. Yeah, it just means I'm moving around a lot. Isn't this cool? We're just watching it float around. Instead of keeping it stationary, we're watching the light float around. That's what we've been doing. Oh, now it's that's funny. They're bumping heads. We can keep it here if you guys prefer. It does look really cool like that. And we can go back to nightclub. Has a bunch of settings. It's got colors. You can leave it on a certain color if you want. It's a pretty good quality thing. Apparently the batteries will last a while too. Like it won't, because I think it's just LEDs, so like they're super efficient. I hope you guys appreciated my martial arts video. That was for you guys, for all your support. Now, sometimes for those who really do pay attention, who linger around, you know, you'll catch those here and there, and I'll give you some pretty valuable information, some pretty valuable tips and stuff. So, you know, like that's why I think, you know, even some of the folks, you know, they linger around because they know, you know, I've been here long enough to know that we do that from time to time. And, you know, I try to help you guys out with your understanding and stuff. You know, because I have been doing that stuff for a really long time, and there's just a lot of propaganda out there. There really is. You think there's not. You think, well, what propaganda does martial arts have? Trust me, there's a lot of it out there from, you know, all the people that you know, they instead of just trying to talk about what's so great about it, you know, like they sort of just kind of go around and say that theirs is the best and stuff like that, and then, you know, like really don't back it up, and then when they try to, like, it doesn't really compute. Like there's a lot of stuff that gets lost in translation, and even they might be accurate about a lot of the stuff they're doing, but they, you know, like they didn't actually master like certain things because it wasn't really necessarily taught to them. They thought that, you know, this is all of what martial arts has to offer, you know, and stuff like that, but you know, that's the propaganda. That's the point, is that you know, there really is like a lot of it out there that is hard to find somebody that knows that knowledge. And you know, obviously, luckily in my life, I definitely trained with the best, and you know, was able to learn from the best, and so I can you know, help out with things once in a while, and you know, obviously without giving out my entire you know, martial arts on the internet, stuff like that. You know, like obviously just help out with some of the stuff that gets lost in translation, and you know, people might be sort of thinking like, well, this isn't really something that works, and this is, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. You know, sometimes they are right, but sometimes not so much. And it's helpful to fill in those blanks. especially if you're, you know, like just getting into it. You know, you don't really know how to decipher the difference between a good, you know, good style and one that's, you know, more for a specific purpose, you know, and that's okay. You know, like there's nothing wrong with jiu-jitsu or judo or like some of these legit styles. Just realize that's one area. I realize that you learn something like that, that's all grappling. You know, like realize, you know, there's definitely more to learn than just that. But sure, you have a good instructor, you learn how to do it all properly. Oh, absolutely, you're still a respectable martial artist as long as you learn from a good instructor and you respected the art properly. But again, there might be some things that then don't make sense to you and don't compute because again, you don't have the you know, the missing information from when you know, the missing information from when you know, somebody else might actually have you know, be able to connect those dots. They have a style where instead of just jiu-jitsu, now they have that in their style, but they also have everything else where in between where they can actually explain to you how that jiu-jitsu now relates to the stand-up fighting and all the other stuff that you've seen all the other guys do in the movies and stuff like that. Like you can actually, you know, sort of fill in those blanks. And well, we going on about an hour now. Believe it or not, we actually do have plenty of time left. I could easily keep running the stream. I will be honest with you though, it's getting a little warm. Yeah, I've been in here almost an hour. It's getting a little bit warm, and so we're probably gonna call it here very, very soon. But I'll hang out here a couple of minutes. Let's see what we can do here. There's the red. There's the green. The red's not very bright, is it? That's the red. That's the green. The blue, man, that's bright. And that's just the light. That's just the normal light. That looks cool too. I mean, the water looks nice. Regular light. I think this is like some sort of preview. But like, kind of like everything kind of does. Surprised it doesn't start like fading or doing something different yet. I thought that was really weird. Alright, let's try the next one. What the? Okay. Let's see what that's. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Like, it's sort of like an oscillating, just on and off. Every 15, 20 seconds, probably. That's cool. It kind of reminds me of Moonlight. I like it. And that's the fade. So that was on earlier, and then this is Boots and Cats. All right, guys. Well, we've reached our hour here. That's pretty much what the light can do. Pretty cool. I bet. That blue is cool. I feel like that one. The light blue is pretty cool. Chocolate Cisco. Do 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 do. Chocolate Cisco. Good song. Highly recommend go listen to it. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. See you guys.